another one, stop!
Feels the pressure and down he goes.
This is why he's so good.
Schaub trying to get a first down. Ball intercepted into the end zone for the touchdown.
Look at that, that's beautiful.
Low scoring game here in Houston. As you can watch your favorite team's top moments from 2012, go to itunes.com/NFL. And a low scoring game. How about -6 passing yards by the Cincinnati Bengals? Unbelievable that they trail it 9-7 only by 2, as the Bengals are the first team in 6 years with negative passing yards in the first half of a playoff game. Chiefs -8 at the Colts back in 2007.
UGLY, you ain't got no alibi, it's ugly.
And the first series here as we send it down to Alex. Actually, a flag has been thrown. The flag is all the way back at the 40. In the area of the kickoff.
Offside on the kicking team. The 5-yard penalty will be added onto 20. 1st and 10 from the 25.
So now we send it down to Alex.
Thank you, Dan. Well, after a dismal first half offensively, Marvin Lewis telling me that his team has to get something going in the passing game in the second half. Wide receiver A.J. Green not only does not have a completion, but they haven't even really looked at him. Marvin Lewis telling me that they're really working based on coverages, but ironically, Cincinnati thought they had that advantage in that department. Meanwhile, Gary Kubiak happy with what they've done in pass defense, but says his team needs to be aware of the Bengals' run game in the second half. He was not happy with their ability to break off a couple runs in the first half, Dan.
So they're going to re-kick it here. And you mentioned A.J. Green, Alex. They did not even throw to him. A guy that caught 97 balls. Besides, it's a little tough first half, but again, the Bengals still in it. As Shane Graham kicks it off, and Adam Jones takes it out. Spun around just short of the 20 by Brian Brayman. And that is where Dalton will go to work.
Now, they only threw the ball 10 times in the first half. And I think Marvin's got to be in that locker room saying, hey guys, we played about as badly as we could offensively and we're down 2. So that's the good news. Let's see what kind of adjustments they make, especially trying to get the football. Jay Gruden's got to get that football out wide to A.J. Green.
They crossed midfield just once to the Houston 47. Jarvis Green-Ellis, who had just 3 carries and 43 yards in the opening half, gets the first call here. J.J. Watt right there.
Over the right tackle. Watch him spin right there with the arm over. You don't teach that. Okay, that's something you can't teach a lineman to do because it's incorrect usually technically to go around the block like that. But because he's so long, that arm over, and then so quick and explosive, he can still make the play.
So fast, so quick. His teammate Jonathan Joseph said they were doing gassers in practice where the defensive backs had to clear 16 seconds. Watt had it 13 seconds. He's so quick he could swat it away. Dalton running for his life and throws it away. So good pressure again up front by the Texans.
Yeah, that time they brought Brady James. First there's initial pressure here, and then second pressure from the linebacker. He steps up against man coverage. 2 things have to happen, and Houston's going to challenge you in man coverage. Your wide receiver has to win, and Andy Dalton has got to trust what he sees, and he's got to throw the football.
And there you saw Dalton with his hands over his helmet there trying to listen to the plays being called in. That was a problem last year. It was a big concern by the Bengals coaches coming in. All this noise at Reliance Stadium. Dalton on 3rd and 11. Buys some time. Throws it downfield incomplete, and it's knocked away by Brendan Harris. And the Bengals will punt.
Watt almost gets the sack here. Dalton athletic enough Watt's got a twist about here. Outside the right tackle, Smith. Usually he eats quarterbacks alive there. Dalton gets out, but what an athletic play by Brandon Harris. Makes the play on the football cleanly. And let's give Wade Phillips and this defense a ton of credit, because Cincinnati has done squat.
So the Texans with a good chance to have some decent field position, calling for the fair catch. A flag comes in as Keyshawn Martin wasn't given the opportunity at all.
Yeah, Chris Lewis Harris, who was recently activated. Clearly, Keyshawn Martin gives the fair catch.
Boom.
The fair catch signal was late, but you still can't contact him. You're there early either way. And he knew it at the last minute. He tried to pull off.
Interference with the opportunity to make a catch by the kicking team, number 37. 15-yard penalty from the spot or foul. First down.
So the field position for the Texans just got a lot better with 15 added on. Back in a moment, 9-7 Houston. Andy Dalton looking over the Polaroids there, trying to figure something out. Nothing going offensively for Cincinnati, and the Texans have excellent field position at their own 49-yard line, but only lead 9-7 in the opening moments of the third quarter. And this is Foster for a good gain into Bengal territory, close to the 45.
You know, this offensive line has 3 Pro Bowlers up front, and they've done a nice job winning at the line of scrimmage. Pass protection. This is who they are. Play action. Look at that. Beautiful pocket. Schaub steps up and through. Run game. That's a man scheme there, helping their tight end out. Look at Dwayne Brown on perfect. The cut. It's beautiful, but a missed opportunity. Andre Johnson in the red zone's got to catch that football. Why we have such a tight game.
On 2nd and 5, Foster spins, does a pirouette, and looks for the first down. Parker is short of it by about 1.5 yards. Michael Johnson on the stop up front for the Bengals.
Boy, Geno Atkins is just so strong. It's unbelievable. Watch him take number 60, the rookie guard, Ben Jones, jack him right into the back. He gets held. It wasn't called. Really good cut, making Leon Hall missing the hole, but wow. That guy is so strong. I was talking to Andrew Whitworth, and he said on Mondays he's in there benching 500 or 600 pounds, and Whitworth can't even look at the weights.
He says his grandmother fed him porridge. That's why he's so strong as a baby. Schaub looking deep on 3rd and 2. A flag is thrown at the 30. Andre Johnson.
The flag, I think, is Manny Lawson on one of the tight ends in the middle of the field. I don't think it had anything to do with where the ball was thrown.
Defense. 5-yard penalty.
Yep, you're right. Lawson.
Manny Lawson's the Sam linebacker. He's lined up on the tight end. That time was Garrett Graham, I believe. It's a tight end. The tight end right there on the hold. That's Lawson on Graham. Good coverage by Leon Hall.
So a first down with a penalty on the 3rd and 2 incompletion. And so the Texan drive alive at the Bengal 38. Fake to Foster. Schaub goes to Foster. And he's got another first down. Gain of 11.
They were looking for a vertical off this play action. And again, Cincinnati had it covered deep. And I like what Matt Schaub did. He did not force it. When they go heavy play action, he's looking deep. He's reading high to low, deep to short. Didn't have the deep route. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that check down to Arian Foster for another first down. Really good job. Matt Schaub's made one mistake, Dan, but it was a big one.
Tate's in the backfield now. The fake to Tate. And this ball is caught by Andre Johnson. All the way down deep inside Bengal territory. Gain of 21. Adam Jones brought him down.
They're going to play action this way and then look at the seam backside. This is a staple of their offense. The play action. Now Adam Jones on the double move gets beat. The ball's thrown on time. Great route by Johnson. That's a 228-pound thoroughbred making a play.
First and goal. Houston has yet to score a touchdown. Look at the dismal offense in the last 3 games for the Texans.
They got to finish.
So-called 3 field goals they've settled for so far. That'll bring up second and goal as Foster's inside the 2.
And Dan, this is where they have to finish. You're just talking about settling for field goals. I think if I'm Gary Kubiak and Rick Dennison, Daniels looks like he might be hurt there. I think I want to run this. I want to establish some physicality here and run this football into the end zone.
Daniels, the leading receiver, 73 yards and catches. We'll be right back. Owen Daniels, wide receiver for Houston, shaken up on the sidelines as the ball is down at the 1 for Houston on second and goal. Trying to get into the end zone for the first time. Foster gets it done. Touchdown, Houston, finally. And that takes Foster to the cusp of another 100-yard playoff game with 99 yards.
Watch Wade Smith. First block, second level on the linebacker. That's beautiful. One of 3 offensive linemen that have earned Pro Bowl bids this year for Houston.
Kubiak and company say they've been trying to find that right combo on the right side. Shuffling players in and out a bit. Wham on to tack on the extra point. And Houston with a little bit of cushion. 16-7 as Arian Foster takes it in for the Texans.
This is Al Michaels in Green Bay. Back to Houston in a moment, but big news here. Vikings quarterback Christian Ponder, who injured his right elbow and triceps in last week's game against the Packers, tested his arm at Lambeau Field about an hour ago and has been declared inactive for tonight's game. And that means that Joe Webb, who did not throw a single pass this season, will start for the Vikings tonight against the Packers, and we'll see you at the kickoff at 8 Eastern time. Back to you, Dan.
Okay, so big news from up there at Frigid Green to the 20-yard line. And that's where the Bengals will start, as the NBC's Wild Card Playoff is brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Power up with a surprisingly low-fat turkey melt. By GE, brilliant machines are transforming the way we work. By the new Santa Fe from Hyundai. And by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. So the Texans up 16-7 with their first touchdown, and Andy Dalton and the Bengals begin from the 20. Nothing going so far. Through the air and not much on the ground either. This one works. Pass complete. The first of the game to A.J. Green comes with 10:20 left in the third quarter.
And that's an excellent placement of the football by Dalton. Jonathan Joseph has been on him all day. There's a big height advantage here. Look where the football was put. I watched this kid practice the other day, Wednesday in Cincinnati. He practices as hard as any player I've ever seen, and that kind of catch is no big deal to the rest of his players.
But Green, like much of the Cincinnati offense, has been kept under wraps for most of the late season. That's the pass complete to Andrew Hawkins, who's just 5'7". You got Green, who's 6'4", and Andrew Hawkins is 5'7", yet he had over 50 catches this year. It's so rare for a guy that small to have that many catches. In fact, only one other wide receiver, 5'7", has had 50-plus catches in an NFL season. That was Richard Johnson for the Lions back in '89. So Hawkins picks up the first down, and Dalton goes to work through the air again. Deep downfield, and this one's complete. And Green has it. All of a sudden, he's in the offensive playbook again.
Yeah, and that was man-to-man. Jonathan Joseph, the former Cincinnati Bengal. Great pass protection. There's a twist up front. Beautiful pocket. He cleanly beats Joseph off the edge and makes the catch. Right there.
Gain of 45.
If you're not, he stacks him. That was a beautifully thrown ball. Boy, I love that throw.
And good news for the Cincinnati offense, Mike, who has not been able to get it downfield for long gains. All of a sudden, Green again here from the near side. And Jonathan Joseph, the former Bengal, who did not play with the Bengals when A.J. Green was there. They just missed each other as Joseph left here to come to Houston, where he's been a Pro Bowler 2 straight years. But this is a matchup we anticipated.
And Alex made the report at half. 0 receptions, 0 targets. You've got to get this guy involved in your offense. And now in the red zone, you're going to see Houston double teaming.
2nd and 4. As the Bengals have entered the red zone. Dalton with a pump fake. Going up top. Looking for Green again. And Joseph was there.
We spoke to Jay Gruden last night. And one of his pet peeves with Andy Dalton is keeping the ball in the ballpark. If you get a one-on-one with that 6'4" receiver against Jonathan Joseph with a decided height advantage, don't throw it out of the end zone, even if it looks like he's covered. Give him a chance to go up and get it.
Big play here for Dalton. 3rd and 4. Trying to keep this drive alive for a potential touchdown.
And a tight bunch set and alert Gresham on the backside. Here's Gresham, and then you're going to see a bunch of picks right in here.
Dalton has it knocked out of his arms. Connor Barwin was right there on Dalton. 4th and 4 and an incomplete pass.
It's Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle, working with Barwin. Nice job right there with the reach, stripping the football.
And that'll bring out the field goal unit in Josh Brown, who's had a sensational year in for the injured Mike Nugent. And what do we have here? We got a challenge.
Kubiak obviously believes the arm was not coming forward.
Houston is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. Timeout.
All right, so we'll get the final result on that when we come back to Houston. Texans coach Gary Kubiak has challenged the call on the field, which is an incomplete pass. Another look.
Yeah, this is hand strength by Dalton. If it comes out right there, it's a fumble. But because he was able to hold on to the football and the ball came loose during a forward motion.
The ruling on the field is confirmed.
It's
the
obvious.
passer gets hit in the hand, but never loses control as his arm is coming forward. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It will be 4th down. Houston will be charged with a timeout, and that's also the first challenge.
So that was some sheer hand strength there by Dalton to keep the momentum going with a football in his hand.
If that ball comes out right there, it's a fumble. But he holds onto the football, and now it's a forward motion when it comes out. It's an incomplete pass. Well done on the field.
So Josh Brown in to attempt the field goal. Filled in nicely for Mike Nugent. Lost earlier in the season with a calf injury. And Brown has been just about perfect. And he knocks this one through from 34 yards to pull the Bengals closer, 16-10. 7:48 left in the third. Dalton and Green coming into the league, same year, both second-year guys, and it has been one prolific combination as you look at what they've done the first 2 seasons. More than 2,200 yards, both all-time records for teammates there. And then the first 2 seasons, the Dalton to Green combination only eclipsed by the great Marino to Clayton combination over the first 2 seasons. So young quarterback and wide receiver, it seemingly is a very bright future in that department for Cincinnati.
Yeah, and I really believe they have to target him. You can't just say, okay, Jonathan Joseph has him, and we're not going there. 3 targets, 3 receptions, 57 yards, net result a field goal. He was fun to talk to last night, Dan, because a year ago, I had met with him before this game, and he was a rookie, and he kind of had his eyes down and hesitant. Last night, he was great. He looked us in the eye, told us what he thought about his game, where he could improve. I thought it was kind of cool to see this kid growing up in front of us.
So Josh Brown just made the field goal, backs up Daniel Manning, and that'll come out to the 20 for the Texans next possession. Leading at 16-10. Another reminder, January 26th. 7, the 2013 NFL Pro Bowl, presented by McDonald's, Sunday, January 27th on NBC. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth will be on the islands again, and they'll have the call in the second wild card game later on tonight from Lambeau Field, Minnesota and Green Bay to follow this Bengal and Texans game. And here is Foster, and that's going to put him over 100 yards again for the third straight playoff game. First player in NFL history, in fact, with 100-plus rushing yards in first 3 postseason games.
That's pretty good, man. And we said at the top of the show, the key to this game was whether or not they could establish him in the run game. And if they could, Matt Schaub would stay in rhythm, and it would give them an advantage in winning the game.
Well, it was funny talking to Foster yesterday. He says it's amazing what expectations can do to a city and a team. They were 10-6. It was their first venture into the playoffs last year as Foster gets the call again. He goes, this year we're 12-4. We post the best record in the young franchise's history. It's been around for 10 years now. And he goes, it's like we're bums. We were treated like rock stars last year, but that's the way it went for Houston down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, you know, when you're 11-1 and you finish 1-3, all of a sudden the fan base has a level of expectations, and it's completely different than it was a year ago.
2 opportunities to post a first-round bye. Instead, losses for Houston. So here they are for the second straight year against the Bengals, and it's Foster out of the backfield for another reception. That one good for 12. Mawaluga on the coverage, who was shaken up earlier, back out there for Cincinnati.
You know, he's been a little bit exposed. Here it is, man-to-man right here. Mawaluga a little bit exposed in man coverage. Gets picked. Foster takes advantage of that moving pick, and it's a first down.
That's the 7th catch for Foster, as Ben Tate gives him a rest. 1st and 10, ball just across the 40. Play action. Dunlap chasing Schaub, who just throws it out of bounds.
You know, I look at these two franchises, and I think there's a lesson to be learned as we watch 7 coaches get fired and 5 general managers. And I thought Bob McNair and Rick Smith have done a great job stabilizing this franchise. A lot of people thought Kubiak would be fired several years ago. That didn't happen, nor should it have. And then Rick Smith comes in, and in 2011, who did he get in the draft? He got Watt, Reed. He signed Daniel Manning and Jonathan Joseph. I mean, this franchise is ascending, and I think they were patient with their GM and head coach.
They're responsible for bringing the NFL back to Houston after the then Oilers left. And that is Owen Daniels, who's back out there in action after being shaken up earlier with his 8th catch of the game. Leon Hall, who had the interception return for a touchdown on the coverage.
You know, in 2009, Rick Smith drafted Cushing, Connor Barwin, Glover Quinn. They signed Arian Foster as a college free agent out of that draft class, and then signed Antonio Smith and Sean Cody as unrestricted free agents. So when you start talking about compiling talent, Rick Smith's done a great job and really got this franchise going in the right direction.
Texans going in the right direction. Ball just short of the 48. 3rd and 3. After the gain of 7 by Daniels. And Foster avoids a defender. Spins his way to midfield short of the first down. Nate Clements, who again is in that starting role for Chris Crocker, on the stop.
Yeah, they're going to try and come down and then pull the tackle around. But Leon Hall comes quickly. Newton gets a piece. Very rarely does he get brought down in the open field on a one-on-one tackle. Give Nate Clemens a ton of credit.
4th down. Crowd wants Houston to go for it. Just about a yard, maybe a little less for the first down.
I mean, when your defense is playing this well, I think you just punt the football and say, Wade, you need to take care of this.
Right at the 10.
Wow. That was like a knuckleball in the air, but a really poor job by Brandon Dave.
Maybe we'll see Adam Jones back out there after that. Bengals lucky to hold on.
J.J. Watt dominant once again today. All phases of the game. Run game, pass game. Watch him shock the tight end. Orson Charles. Vision on the mesh point. Slides down. makes the tackle, crosses the face of the center, runs through it, gets the sack, and finally, arm over, flattens down the line of scrimmage. He's as active as can be and as advertised.
Bengals begin at their own 11. This is Green Ellis with a carry. The first 5 possessions, Cincinnati's offense, no points, just 52 yards. That last possession where they're able to get a field goal, 64 yards. So we'll see if they can continue the momentum after J.J. Watt and company just shut them down for most of the first half.
Yeah, I was talking with him on the field before the game, and I asked him, when you're rushing the quarterback, what do you look at? He said, Mike, my eyes are on the quarterback the entire time, because if I can't get home, I want to knock the ball down.
His motor never stops. 2nd and 5.
There it is.
Pass batted down at the line. Is that Watt?
That's exactly what we just talked about. He's saying, don't do that.
That's one of the signature moves that Watt has made famous. No one's done it better in the history of the game.
Watch his eyes on the quarterback. He doesn't continue to grout with the offensive lineman. Eyes on the quarterback. When he knows he's not going to get home, he's looking. He sees.
He hides.
Absolutely. His eyes are always where, and then he goes,
Not over me. Not over 99.
Not my house, dude.
That's 17 passes defensed, and he ups the number here in the postseason. An amazing line of statistics, and that's a big part of it. 6 feet 5, able to jump and time it. 3rd and 5, Dalton over the middle.
Flag down.
Flag is down.
They're making it difficult on Dalton. Playing tough man-to-man and pressuring the quarterback.
Number 38 of the defense was lined up in the neutral zone. The 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Big penalty. Daniel Manning, defensive coordinator for the Texans. Wade Phillips, obviously not happy with Manning's penalty.
There he is, and it's a good call, and that's like a turnover. It would have been a punt on the incomplete pass. That's a turnover. They've got the football back, 1st and 10.
21-yard line. Huge penalty there by the Texans. The most penalized team in the NFL, by the way, the last 6 games of the season. As Green Ellis is brought down by, guess who, J.J. Watt.
You know,
let's go down to Alex.
Well, Dan, J.J. Watt just kind of getting used to his notoriety. He was genuinely surprised earlier this season when they made the cover of SI. And that same week, he was at a Justin Bieber concert, came out and the girls were screaming. He assumed they were screaming for Justin Bieber. Was surprised to find out they were screaming J.J. Watt. He's a star in this town.
Huge celebrity, and the rest of the world and league just getting to know him. That ball is taken by Jonathan Joseph. Intended for A.J. Green, and Dalton with a big turnover.
and you know what? Really good pass protection on an overload blitz from Dalton's left side. They're all coming from Dalton's left over here. They do a nice job. I don't know why A.J. Green's not looking. He's got to be aware. A.J. Green's got to see this football. The ball was on top of him because Dalton anticipated blitz. It had to come out, but Green's got to see it.
The veteran Joseph, the former Bengal, steps in front and comes up with a big turnover, and that sets up the Texans all the way down to the Bengal 26, leading 16-10 with just over 3 minutes left in the third. Foster, nothing going left side, and a loss all the way back to the 30. Wallace Gilberry among the Bengals to drop him for a loss of 4.
Now, if you're Houston, if you're Gary Kubiak, this is where you want to shut the door. Right here. You're at home. The crowd's with you. You've made a big play on defense. You've got the football on the 30-yard line. And on first down, you lose 4 in the run game. You've got to convert here.
Second straight year that the Texans have limped into the playoffs. 3 straight losses, remember, last year before they beat the Bengals. And again, losing 3 out of the 4 down the stretch here this time around. So there was not much confidence in the Texan fans for Houston's prospects against a red-hot Bengal team, but that one complete to Johnson as we get down to 2 minutes left, a gain of 10.
6-point differential. In this particular instance, a field goal is good. turns it into a 2-possession ball game.
3rd and 4. And time for the Bengal defense to dig in here. Trying to force the Texans for a field goal attempt.
It's Maluga man-to-man up top.
Shot complete. Daniels again having a big game. Gain of 11. 1st and 10.
This is Nate Clemens. Remember, he's playing safety today for the injured Crocker. From the left side of the screen, Daniels, a tight end, does a nice job coming underneath Clemens. Right there, little shimmy, come under. You can't get beat under like that.
Clemens is down, ball's just inside the 10. 1st and goal it'll be for Houston when we come back. Injured player, in fact, as we went to break, was Adam Jones being attended to.
That affects their nickel package. They're in base right now, but whenever they go nickel, if he can't come back in, because typically he comes outside and they kick Leon Hall inside.
So 1st and goal. Ball at the 9-yard line of Cincinnati. Houston up 16-10. Foster set up behind Schaub, grabs it inside the 5. Just kind of snakes his way through there down inside the 4. Flag comes in.
Holding number 79, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
So that comes back. Brandon Brooks, the rookie out of Miami.
I was introduced to him at the East-West game last year. I thought he was one of the most promising young linemen at that game. Massive, 340 pounds, really good feet for a guy that size. And if you play in his own scheme, you have to have good feet. But again, situation where you're dominating a football game, you're only up 6, and in the red zone, big holding penalty.
Talked about the penalties and how they have hurt Houston, most penalized team over the final 6 games. Nearly 9 penalties they averaged coming down the stretch. As the ball is backed up all the way to the 18-yard line where it's 1st and goal. Daniels in motion. Schaub pulls the trigger. Incomplete. Intended for Walter. And that was Newman on the coverage.
34-year-old Terrence Newman did a nice job. There was some pushing there as Walter was trying to run a slant. Remember, you want to take away the inside move. Hands are all over him. I don't have a problem with that as a former defensive back.
I bet.
Let's let him play. I like it.
Newman missed last week with a groin injury. Former Cowboy, went to a couple of Pro Bowls. Has some good postseason experience. On 2nd and goal, Schaub out of the shotgun. And this is Foster drifting to the left side, down to the 11-yard line. Maluga there to meet him after a gain of 7. But still, the Bengals looking to get out of this with just a field goal attempt on 3rd and goal.
You see Gary Kubiak, you might say playing it conservatively. I would say he's playing it intelligently. Worst case scenario, he wants a field goal, 9-point differential, and trust his defense.
And that is going to bring us to the end of quarter number 3. Houston 16, Bengals 10. NBC's NFL Wildcard Playoff continues right after these messages. Saturday early evening in Houston. Aerial coverage tonight provided by Geico. And before the game started, Earl Campbell, the great Houston Oiler, Heisman Trophy winner from Texas, introduced to the crowd as the honorary game captain. Earl, a legend from the Love Ya Blue Oiler days. Good to see Earl doing better. He was confined to a wheelchair for a number of years. Has had multiple spinal surgeries, and good to see Earl Campbell back getting around. Schaub down to the 6-yard line to Arian Foster on 3rd and goal, but that'll bring up 4th and goal, and another field goal attempt here by the Texans.
Little arrow route by Foster that time. And again, I don't have a problem with what might some call a conservative approach here in the red zone. After they got the holding penalty, they got the ball back down to the 6-yard line for a chip shot field goal. 9-point differential in a game like this means a lot.
So Graham going to attempt a 24-yard field goal. 3 for 3 so far. He adds another 3 points for the Houston Texans, who up the lead to 19-10. So even though the Bengals trail at 19-10, still in the area as we look at the pulse and some of the plays that have kind of dictated the tempo and rhythm of this game. J.J. Watt, his usual presence. Leon Hall with a big pick six, 21 yards out. Schaub threw it, stepped in front of him, and then Arian Foster capped off a good drive. He's over 100 yards again in the playoffs. So based on what you've seen so far, this is pretty much what Houston had to do to kind of get back on track. A little Foster, a little passing.
I think we talked about this all week, and first and foremost for me is defensively. I think Wade Phillips' guys have completely shut down Cincinnati. Secondly, Arian Foster, 34 touches. That's back to Houston football. So they're running the football effectively, play action, keeping Schaub in his comfort level, and then that guy right there, J.J. Watt, has dominated the line of scrimmage.
Schaub in his first postseason action. Again, T.J. Yates had the controls last year for Houston. And they beat the Cincinnati team, went on to lose to Baltimore. And if Houston can hang on to the win here, they will play at New England. So Cincinnati set up pretty nicely on a good return by Brandon Tate. And a reminder that coming up next, Wild Card Saturday continues on NBC. Adrian Peterson, and again with Christian Ponder not starting at quarterback for the Vikings. He's going to be even a bigger key as they take on the Packers at Lambeau. Bob Costas and company have the Pepsi Grid Show. And there is Peterson coming in just an eyelash away from Eric Dickerson's all-time NFL single-season rushing record. But Aaron Rodgers having another good year, hoping that the Pack can stay on top. Again, that'll wrap up our Wild Card Saturday here on NBC. Dalton goes to work, right to the air, complete to Jermaine Gresham.
You know, Dan, talking about the game tonight, it's kind of interesting with Ponder out. I look at that as a kind of good news, bad news. The bad news is obviously your starting quarterback is out of the game. I think the good news for Minnesota is their backup quarterback, Joe Webb, is a completely different type of quarterback. He's got great ability to escape. He can run with the football. We'll talk about it in a minute.
At the 45 after the gain of 6, 2nd and 4 for Dalton. Again, having a hard time hearing with this Reliant Stadium crowd waking up. Green Ellis has the first down. And he's into Texan territory to the 48.
You know, from my perspective, if you're Tom Capers in Green Bay, and you've worked all week anticipating Ponder, maybe getting Webb, now you get a completely different snapshot. Joe Webb on a Sunday night game a couple years ago in December against Philadelphia. Snowstorm gets postponed till Tuesday evening, and Joe Webb wins the football game, mostly because he's so athletic. I'd be very concerned if I was Green Bay because of that athletic ability.
Once again, Dalton trying to make sure his offensive players know what's going to be run here out of the gun. Dalton fires incomplete, intended for Green. It was really nailed there by Joseph.
Yeah, they're playing two high safeties here now with what's going on underneath. There it goes, drives on it. Nice job by Jonathan Joseph. But with two high safeties, they're basically saying you're not going to throw the ball over top of us. We got a two-possession lead.
Over to Hawkins and a little 5'7" wide receiver trying to get his way up to the 40, and Hawkins mixing it up there.
He's a space player. He's one of those guys where you try to take advantage of his lateral quickness. Reverses, toss sweeps, quick bubble screens, tunnel screens. Get the football in his hands and let people miss.
Again, just 5'7" in between jobs. He was a caddy at Inverness Golf Club in Toledo on that celebrated golf course. But you do everything you can in between to try to keep your NFL dream alive. And here he is Part of the Cincinnati Bengals team trying to rally against the Texans. 0 for 6 on third downs. This 3rd and 2, the toss to Green Ellis. Looking for it, and he's going to be short.
Yeah, Kareem Jackson did a nice job coming up on the corner and forcing that play back inside. Watch what happens with the crack, and then the tackle Whitworth from behind. There's the submarine by Kareem Jackson. If this is made, if they get the first down here, this is all because of the law firm.
Ben, Jarvis, Green, Ellis. Apparently,
LTD.
Seemed like it was short, but they're going to come out and measure. Pretty good road record for the Cincinnati Bengals. 6-2 on the road this year. Again, indeed short.
Now let's see what they're going to do here, Dan.
Yep, 11:36 left, trailing by 9. Outside of field goal range.
Yeah,
you agree with this?
You're in no man's land here. Punt doesn't do you any good. Too far for a field goal. I agree. They've got their heavy package in the game. Dennis Rowland, the backup tackler. Fullback in the game, John Connor, cut by the New York Jets recently.
Green Ellis knifes in. Looked like his forward momentum got him the first down. Big play for Cincinnati to keep this drive alive with just over 11 minutes left. Brady James came in there, but it was too late.
Here comes Brady James, 53. The fullback Connor gets a good job, good block on the other linebacker that time, Barrett Rude. Just enough for the first.
Green Ellis, again back in action this week, has 60 yards on 9 carries. Former New England Patriot who started in the Super Bowl for the Patriots. Now playing for Marvin Lewis in his first year in Cincinnati. The fake to Green Ellis, and Dalton going deep down the field to Green. Incomplete. Joseph was there. Kareem Jackson was there as well.
And I'll tell you what, Kareem Jackson coming in late is the one that I think helped get rid of the football. Joseph gets beat. Right there, he's beat. The ball's thrown, but it's held up. And at the very end, you see Kareem Jackson come in, 25. Look at that leaping ability. Ball's already out. My bad. Jonathan Joseph did a great job.
Yeah, he saved a touchdown with that last second bat on Green.
And that ball was underthrown again.
2nd and 10. Pump fake by Dalton. Now he's running. And gets it up to the 37-yard line. Brooks Reed, who returned to practice on Tuesday and missed last week's game with a groin, also missed 3 games late in the season.
We talked all week about this guy's got to rip it when it's there. Now watch what happens right here in the middle of the field. Right there, wide open. Nobody's around him. He looked right at him and pulled the football down again. Andy's got to rip that football when he has it.
The game of just 1, 3rd and 9. And Green is back out there. Dalton looks his way, fires. Complete to Green, short of the first down. At about the 30, Joseph and Green have been locked up in a battle all day.
And Jonathan Joseph does as good a job as any corner in the league in driving on the slant route. He typically will play inside to try and take away the slant. Look at him drive on it. The ball's just thrown perfectly, and another hands catch by A.J. Green.
So on comes the field goal unit for Cincinnati and Josh Brown. Spotted at the 37, so it'll be a 47-yard attempt. He's got a very strong leg, Josh Brown does. And that one is hammered right through to bring Cincinnati a little closer within 6. 9:03 left in Houston. Texans 19, Bengals 13. 3 left in the fourth. 19-13. Texans over the Bengals, trying to make it 2 straight over Cincinnati in the wild card Saturday, which opens the NFL postseason. And Gary Kubiak trying to get his club another chance. And the Texans will come out to the 20. Houston trying to move on. The AFC wild card playoff. Texans start out at the 20, up 19-13. Play action by Schaub, and looking to the near side, he's got James Casey. Casey with good yardage brought down by Maluga after a gain of 21. First catch by Casey's a big one.
Yeah, Manny Lawson completely sells out. Watch Lawson thinking it's run. He's going to come up and sell out right there. He's on the ground, so there's nobody to cover Casey. So he tries to sell out on the run game, not realizing Casey was sliding out to the flat.
Good gain up to the 40 by Casey, who had 34 catches in the regular season, along with 3 touchdowns, his first of the game. And now Foster looking for some daylight along the left side.
You know, Owen Daniels has 9 catches today, and a lot of it is man versus man-to-man on crossing routes. They've done a real nice job. First the run game, and now Owen Daniels working across Maluga's face. Big play. Again, this time Garrett Graham, another tight end, working across Maluga's face. Time after time, we've seen the tight ends on crossing routes wide open.
It's through the air and then on the ground. Foster's been paving the way. 118 yards to Foster. Here he comes this way. Looking for the first down marker. He'll be short of it as he had to get up to the midfield stripe. But he's got 34 yards receiving as well, so he's over 150 total yards.
He's getting close to 40 touches today. When you talk about carries and receptions, got about 28 carries, another 8 or 9 catches. He's going to be sore tonight.
3rd and 2.
There's some confusion because Foster was split out.
Shot goes to the far side. Good throw. Hauled in by DeVere Posey. A flag comes in as Posey, when we watched it practice, we thought was going to be a little more involved in the Texan offense. A gain of 18 for Posey, but again, a flag is down.
Pass interference, number 11 on the offense.
Yep, it's
10-yard
on
penalty,
Posey.
still 3rd down.
Very physical rookie, 3rd-round pick from Ohio State. Top of the screen, works up the field. Look at the right arm push off. Just a little push off to come back to the football. They like him. Didn't play much football at Ohio State because was suspended for a period of time in his last season.
Yeah, he was involved in that tattoo scandal at Ohio State. Players accepting some cash, and coaching staff said, yeah, he basically missed all of his senior season. Just a couple of games with the suspensions that were levied against him and the Buckeyes. 3rd and 12. And Schaub out to Walter. And Walter's dragged out of bounds by Nate Clements. Short of the first down, I believe.
Nice job. You see double A gap right there. Both linebackers in the A gap, which is between the center and the guard. One of the linebackers comes. Arian Foster picks him up. Schaub has barely been touched tonight. Good throw and catch. Fans don't like the mark.
4th and 1. Texans are going to come in and punt.
Fans don't like the mark, and they don't like the fact that they're not going for it again.
And Brandon Tate is back there after a previous juggle with a reception. Flag comes in.
Taylor Mays ran on the field at the very last
Delay
second.
game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
It backs the Texans up even more. A little better field position for Tate. Again, we talked about the penalties being a problem, especially in the last 6 games. First 10 games, a lot cleaner. Most in the NFL down the stretch for Kubiak.
I'm with you. The penalties in the red zone. I mean, they're 1 for 4 in red zone today. So if Houston finds a way to lose this football game, it's going to be an implosion.
As Brandon Tate returns it to the 20-yard line. They celebrated the anniversary of the big Bills comeback on the Oilers in the playoffs all those years ago. Not again, says the Texan fans. Look at the numbers for Andy Dalton compared to last year's wild card game loss to this Texan team. Today 11 of 25, 88 yards, a 1 pick, and now a key drive for Cincinnati beginning at its own 20, 6:15 left, trailing by 6. Dalton quickly to the air to his man A.J. Green's got a first down and more. All the way up to the 35-yard line before Brandon Harris takes him down after a gain of 16.
Jonathan Joseph, who has done such a nice job all game long, misses the tackle, goes to the upfield shoulder. A.J. Green makes a nice move. You got to keep feeding 18. And by the way, where's the tight end, Jermaine Gresham? 2 catches for 7 yards. Second best receiver on this team's got to get involved.
Green didn't have a single catch through the first half. He's got 5 catches for 80 yards all in this second half. Green Ellis on the ground gets it up to the 40-yard line. That'll bring up second down.
The double team on J.J. Watt, whose name we haven't mentioned as much in the second half. Watt right here, double team. In my opinion, if you don't double team him every snap in some way, shape, or form, you're asking for trouble.
Approaching the 5-minute mark for the Bengals, who never won a playoff game on the road and haven't won a playoff game period in 22 years. Dalton chased down from behind by Brooks Reed. Again, just back in practice this Tuesday, missed the game last week, and comes up with a big play on Dalton.
He's relentless. Watched him play on tape in college. Second-round pick, Brooks Reed. I thought Dalton was going to take a shot. Look at that. The ball almost comes loose. I thought he had A.J. Green in the hole between the corner and safety on 2 deep coverage.
Second-round pick out of Arizona, Brooks Reed, brings up 3rd and 6. Timeout
there.
And they burn a timeout with 4:17 left. Big play for the Bengals coming up when we come back. Mike, you've been to a lot of NFL venues around the league. This is one of the loudest.
And this might be the loudest snap of the game right here.
Huge play, 3rd and 6, 4:17 left. Andy Dalton from the 40. Texans come up on the line, flags fly in, stop the play.
Yeah, right side of the line. I think it was the rookie first-round pick, Zeitler.
Ball start, number 68 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Yeah, Houston showed a lot of activity late at the line of scrimmage, sneaking people up here, and then the right guard, right here. See them sneaking up Daniel Manning right over top of him. He steps back. Easy call.
Zeitler, the rookie out of Wisconsin, who was teammates with J.J. Watt there. And now it's 3rd and 11, and Dalton, who's going to have a hard time hearing all game. Down the middle, incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down.
No. They're going to get Shiloh KO for defensive pass interference.
What a crucial penalty if that's the call indeed.
And I think it is the right call. I think KO went after the guy instead of the ball.
Pass interference, number 31 in the defense. The ball will be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Wow.
KO's a second-year player out of Idaho. And he's got to play the football here. Don't play the man, play the football. He's got a chance to make a play, and he tackles. That's just a safety who's starting because they were upset with Quentin Demps. That's a safety who didn't have the confidence to make a play on the ball.
On 3rd and 11, the huge penalty. 1st and 10 now from the 50. Midfield, Bengals trying to come back with 4:12 left. Dalton with a little play fake, and he's complete to Marvin Jones, the rookie out of Cal. Kareem Jackson on the coverage. Jones catch good for 15.
Watch the pass protection over here as they bring pressure, play action. I like Dalton right here. Plants the foot in the ground, throws it right on top of Marvin Jones. Kareem Jackson on the back shoulder. That's a heck of a job by Dalton and the rookie, Marvin Jones.
Just the second catch for Jones, but it is a big one. Down to the Texan 35. Green Ellis caught in the backfield and hauled down by Earl Mitchell, Houston native, who rotates in there at the nose tackle position.
Nice play by Mitchell. He beat the center, Kyle Cook, cleanly for a negative play.
Mitchell had a sack last year versus Cincinnati in this wild card game. Big play there. 2nd and 11 for Lewis, trying to get that elusive first playoff win in his career. Dalton over the middle, incomplete to Gresham.
Dan, you heard me talk all week about Glover Quinn and how I think he's underappreciated around the league. He's been man-to-man on Gresham all day. Earlier on, I said, where's Jermaine Gresham? And the answer is Glover Quinn's winning that battle all night long.
No one has higher praise for Glover Quinn than his teammate Jonathan Joseph, the veteran, who says he's a born leader. He's like a Boys and Girls Club director. Gets everybody organized into game preparation. And that was a big play. Now 3rd and 11 for Cincinnati. Here comes the rush. Dalton steps up, going deep downfield, just out of reach of Green. 4th down with 2:51 left.
And Danielle Manning, to me, was late. The safety getting over to help. He's going to take it outside, back in. He caught him flat-footed. He's open. Daniel Manning's late. I know it's a tight window, but that's a throw you got to make.
And you got to go for it here, right?
Yeah, I think that unfortunately at this point the field goal from 36 is what? 44, 54,
yarder.
And you might not get the ball back. So
yep,
we're going to go for it.
Down by 6, needing a big play here. Quick release to Jones, trying to get loose, but he's going to be short, and Cincinnati's going to turn it over to Houston.
So they got immediate pressure up the middle. I think it was Watt. Forced the ball out quickly. Here comes Watt on a twist stunt. Forces the ball out to Marvin Jones. Now you got to rally up and tackle. They're playing zone coverage. That's the dime defender right there that made the initial move on it, Brandon Harris.
So if the Texans can sustain a drive here, they can move on to the next round of the playoffs, up 19-13, 2:44 to go from their own 28. Foster gets the call across the 30, 32, gain of about 4.
29th carry of the day for him. And let's not forget, Dan, the Bengals had to burn a timeout earlier because they couldn't hear the signals come into the game. So they only have 2 at this point left.
And again, the Bengals looking for that playoff win that has been some 22 years ago. Their last one coming against the then Houston Oilers. And just a huge game for the Houston Texans with everything that happened. 11-1 to start the season, losing 3 out of the last 4. They had 2 great opportunities down the stretch to wrap up home field throughout the playoffs and the first round bye. Here they are on the wild card. Close, but not done yet.
Well, I love these 2 defenses. Mike Zimmer's Cincinnati Bengals have played their tails off. Wade Phillips' group has played even better. And let's face it, I think Jonathan Joseph, who's been paired all day long on A.J. Green, shut him out in the first half. Green's done some damage in the second half, but boy, this has been a fun defensive battle to watch.
And 6 field goals made in the game, 4 by Houston by Graham. And Foster short of the first down. That'll bring up 3rd down
Final timeout.
Burned by the Bengals with 2.5 left.
Big play right here. 3rd and about a yard. Foster, 30 carries for $128. Another 8 catches, 38 touches.
Mentioned Marvin Lewis and the 79 wins, the most in team history. You know, there's been only one other coach in NFL history that has more regular season wins and no playoff wins. That's the elder Jim Mora, who went 0-6.
Playoffs.
That guy.
It's him and Allen Iverson, 2 of the best sound bites of all time. Practice.
Lewis, also the second longest tenured coach with the firing of Andy Reid at the moment, behind Bill Belichick. But Andy Reid, of course, with the Kansas City Chiefs now on 3rd and 2. Schaub, yes, first down. Wow. Garrett Graham.
They actually wanted Andre Johnson on a deep crossing route, and it wasn't there.
And look at the relief on Matt Schaub's face. No one in this city has been more criticized and maybe blamed for what has happened down the stretch here with this Houston team than Schaub.
There's a
but
flag
there
down.
is a flag down just short of the 45.
Garrett Graham got up very slowly there.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, contact to the helmet of the defensive player. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
It's going to be the second guy in, Vontez Burfict, I believe, and Lawson was fine. I think it's going to be Burfict coming in. So the initial hit is 99 Lawson. He's fine. Here comes the second one.
Yep.
Right there. Top of the helmet. Whenever you use the crown of the helmet to any part of the body, let alone the helmet, and look at Matt Schaub. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Again, he said, you know what, I'll take some of the blame down the stretch here. I have not been the quarterback that led this team to an 11-1 mark to start the season. As the Texans with a 1st and 10 now. Just trying to salt the clock away here, approaching the 2-minute warning. They've had some pretty big losses, Mike. I know they're 12-4, and all 4 of those losses have come to teams that have made the playoffs. But as they get set to perhaps go back up to New England, where they lost 42-14,
and it wasn't even, I mean, it was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter.
And there was the big Sunday Night Football loss of Green Bay, 42-24. But Houston so close they can taste it now, leading the Bengals 19-13. Still a festive scene there at 30 Rock, and that's where we'll be heading for the Pepsi Bridge Show. Dan, Tony, Rodney react to our game here in Houston. Also take a look at the next wild card game as the Vikings are at Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. Game 2 of our doubleheader coming up right after the game. Houston up 19-13 at the 2-minute warning at the Bengal 40. Trying to move on to a rematch with New England as Foster takes it for another first down. And that brings Foster up to 130 yards with that latest 10-yard gain. One of the big keys to what appears to be a Texans win.
Yeah, and that was his 40th touch of the game.
Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator for the Texans. We had a nice chat with him, and he didn't exactly pull back on his admiration of his big guy up front, J.J. Watt. Here's Phillips, a guy that has coached some of the best defensive players in the history of the game. Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Elvin Bethea. He says, I've never seen anybody do the things on the field that J.J. Watt has done this season. Shot takes a knee, and it's just a formality here as Foster now is up to 174 total yards. The entire Bengal team 198 yards, and you can see the relief on Kubiak's face all week long, hearing how you're going to get your team back to the way it was playing. And Bob McNair, the founder of this franchise, who brought the team and football back to Houston, and the disappointment for Andy Dalton, the 2nd straight year in the town where he played his high school football and grew up, going to be on the short end of a playoff game. And that will do it. The Houston Texans survive a late season skid and beat the Cincinnati Bengals for the second straight year in the wild card game. So, kind of as we expected, Mike, low scoring affair, defensive battle there for a while.
Yeah, we talked all week. It could be 13-10 type of game heading into the fourth quarter, and both defenses as advertised. J.J. Watt was a beast. Arian Foster dominated on the ground. Give that offensive line a ton of credit. But at the end of the day, I think it's the offensive line and the tailback for Houston and the defense.
Do you give this Texan team much of a chance up in New England? I know a lot of people will say that that's a pretty tall order to try to pull off. What are your thoughts on that game coming up for the Texans?
I'm a little skewed because I watched that game on tape from 4 weeks ago, and New England completely dominated them in every phase of the game. New England rested, healthy, at home. I believe too much for Houston, yes.
So the Bengals ousted in the playoffs for the second straight year. It was the first time in 30 years that they had made back-to-back playoff appearance, but an early exit again for them. Let's send it down to Alex.
Well, standing by with the Texans quarterback, Matt Schaub. And first of all, describe the emotions. Is it one of relief?
No, it's excitement. I'm excited. First time having a chance to be on the field. My guys in the playoffs after last season. It's just a great feeling to come away with a win. It was never easy. Cincinnati's a great team, and I made a turnover and gave them points, and so we just had to rally around each other, and we did that.
A couple of your teammates, let's bring them in, standing here behind you, made it look easy, Arian. How much do you think you guys got back to playing your style of football today?
Well, a lot. We like to run the ball, and we like to play good defense. And all it takes is 1 week to turn things around in the NFL, and we did that. So we're happy, but we've been here before, so we know what to expect.
You go into New England now. How does this momentum carry you into that game?
I'm not a big believer in momentum. I think every Sunday you just got to come out and bring your best. You can get beat on any day. So.
All right, Arian. J.J. Watt dominated here defensively, something that this team has been known for. But what were you able to do today to this Bengals team?
I think it was a full defensive effort. I think everybody was flying around, everybody was having fun, and we got off the field on third down. That's a big key for us.
Always fun to watch you, J.J. Congratulations.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Dan, back to you.
2 more passes swatted down by J.J. Watt. The Cincinnati offense, by the way, 9 possessions, just 2 field goals, 0 for 9, third down conversions.
It says it all right there, Dan.
So once again, the final score from Alliance Stadium. Houston moves on in the playoffs. 19-13 coming up next wild card Saturday continues as Adrian Peterson and the Vikings take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But first, Bob Costas has the Pepsi Bridge Show live from Green Bay. Coverage continues next only on NBC. For our entire crew in the truck, from Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan, Dan Hicks saying so long from Houston. The Texans move on to take on